You're listening to the Ochoman Behind the Eight Ball, only on Ignotainment. Without further ado, the one, the only, Ochoman.
Hey, we got a big show for you today, my friends. We got a big special guest here. My partner here, Mr. Coop, Jeff Cooper, is in the studio with us. We got our old sidekick, Jimbo, my little Tonto, you might say, and our production man, the man that makes this all possible, Big Chris. How you guys doing out there?
Ho, ho, ho.
We're good.
All right. Hey, what do you guys think about this NFL playoff action coming your way here? Let's start it off with some NFL action. What do you guys think about it? The St. Louis, God damn it, I said the St. Louis Cardinals again, didn't I? It's the Arizona Cardinals are off at 25-1 to start off Vegas here at 25-1, and they've already clinched the playoffs.
Well, injuries. That's it. Injuries. Who's going to play quarterback? You don't know. I don't know. Coop, you know?
I don't know.
Do you know?
I just don't think they're anything near division leading. They do deserve 25-1. I just do not think they're good at all, my friends. And they got right now Seattle. I think they're 13-4. You've got.
Oach, are you confident Seattle going into New Orleans if the playoffs started today and winning?
What are my notes around here?
Hey, are you confident?
Did you sabotage my notes?
I wouldn't do that to you.
Well, there's like 4 or 5 teams ahead of these guys. I know the Cowboys were going off at like 15-1. Then you had Detroit 20-1. They're legit 20-1. Detroit is, and then you had Seattle. And who was that other team?
We got Green Bay going into Dallas.
Green Bay is at 5-2 to win the NFC. So, you know, there's a lot of good teams out there, and I'm just saying to you, the Arizona Cardinals are legit 25-1 is what I'm saying here, my friends.
So when you call it a legit 25-1, does that mean, Oach, for our listeners at home, that legit is they should be 25-1, or legit means, hey, look, 25-1, that's something I should probably go out and try to bet my buddy?
Absolutely not. You do not play this 25-1. I think it's a gimmick bet, Mr. Cooper. This is something that you see at the horse tracks at horses like 40-1, 50-1, 99-1. You do not buy into this. They try to reel you into this. Forget the whole division clinching and all this shit. They're down to their third string quarterback, and I think it's legit that they are 25-1, and I would not venture off to bet a nickel on these clowns.
So you never would have bet Giacomo in the Kentucky Derby?
Fuck no. That Giacomo I'm still having problems with that goddamn horse paying off my man. But again, this is for entertainment purposes only, my friends.
Absolutely.
Entertainment purposes only.
Yes, did you find your notes? Over there rooting around like a hedgehog trying to find your notes. Did you get them?
I'm really relaxed now. I found something.
Why don't you find something in that glass of scotch?
You know what? I will have a glass of scotch here. It's sitting right next to me.
Looks good.
My friend Cooper filled it up. Let me have a shot right here while you two are conversing.
You know, you brought up the Kentucky Derby. I ventured into that one time. I had Barbaro to win the Triple Crown, and he died.
I ventured up in that one time. No wonder the fucking horse lost. I bet on him, and you probably... First time I ventured off to bet on a horse.
Didn't work out so well.
No, not at all. The fucking thing broke his leg, and I got a ticket on speeding that day to the racetrack just to make a play on that stupid fucking thing. Anyway, let's move on here. We've got something that I got to bring up to you guys. It's Alex Rodriguez for the New York Yankees. He's not retiring, my friends.
No, he's back at it.
3 years, $60 million. Now, this is one of those players that we talk about. Here's the back end of a bad contract, and this is what a lot of these big time players are going to go through. You're going to see this through the Pujolses. You're going to see this through the Canoes. You're already seeing that dipshit Votto. He still can't get his shit together after a $200 million contract. And I'm telling you right now that Rodriguez, he's going to hang around. $60 million. Would you leave?
Oh, not in a million years. I'd stick around till I was in a walker. I mean, that's the problem with these guys. These guys getting big contracts at 28, 29, 30 years old, as opposed to getting a big contract at 25 years old. You're already through it. You're done. I mean, you know the minute you sign a 7 to 10 year contract as a guy who's 28 years old, that those last 3 years, you're doing nothing but fucking the ownership. That's really all there is to it.
Well, then how can the Yank fans be down on this guy? They should be down on the organization.
Well, they're down on him because he's the Lance Armstrong of baseball. He's a lion sack of shit who has done it over and over and over again, and admitted to it. And not that it's like the old Bill Burr thing. I love steroids. I think it's great, right? I want to see Barry Bonds walk out as just one gigantic chest muscle with a bat sticking out of it and knock it over the fence. That's fine. That's who Alex Rodriguez is. No big deal. But you can't. I don't think if Lance Armstrong went out and got back on a bike, I don't think there'd be many people cheering for him.
You think they cheer? What if he? Here's a reversal. What if he has a great year?
Great year being what?
DH. What if he has a great season?
My friend, if he has a great year, the Ochoman will get on the track and run against thoroughbreds in my boxers. There's no goddamn way.
Can we write that down somewhere?
Write it down. Sketch
Put it on the board. Put it on the board.
Shit, what you do with it?
No. Seriously, what if? Just hypothetically, I mean, especially in New York, what if this guy hits 30 home runs and hits 280, drives in?
They're going to love him. They're going to love him.
It's all a added bonus then, because realistically, if they could get 18 dingers out of this guy, they're happy right now because they're already saying you're a DH. We don't even want you out on the field.
Homie, don't play that.
Homie, don't play that.
All right. Well, let's move on here from Rodriguez. Let's move on to
Can we talk about something before you go on, Oach? I'm sorry to interrupt you. I hate to interrupt you. It's your podcast.
You always
and
do,
else.
but go ahead. Go whatever the hell you want to do.
Can we talk about, and maybe it's Alex Rodriguez, I don't know. Maybe it was bringing up Giacomo. You're the grouchiest Christmas season guy ever.
It's like Bad Santa.
Yeah, why are you so grouchy right now?
Don't make me angry.
Well, there's a couple reasons.
Reasons.
I'll be honest with you. There are some reasons. I bought an electric car, and I cannot venture off with this electric car to where the hell I want. I got to constantly watch where the hell I'm going, or I run out of electric juice, and I'm stuck on the goddamn freeway somewhere.
Now, for our listeners out there, when you say you have an electric car, they're probably thinking, just plug it in. So what's the problem? Why can't you just plug it in?
Yeah,
This is why I chose an inferior partner to sit here. This is why Lone Ranger's got Tonto. This is why Batman's got Robin. You will never equivalate.
What the hell does that mean?
It sounded good. Equivalate.
I'm not sure it did.
Producer Chris.
Fucking Don King uses words like that too. So get off my ass.
Producer Chris, can we get a verification on the actual term, the dictionary term for what was it?
Equivalate.
Idiot.
Oh, idiot. Okay.
Son of a bitch. Okay, equivalent means the same, but we're not the same.
You just said we were the same.
No, I said you're not the same as my Batman belt.
Equivalent.
You have a Batman belt?
Well, I'm saying you wouldn't be.
His
You're
Batman,
Robin.
his Batman PJs.
All right. Well, the point is, I dipshit, that my car can't get plugged up everywhere in St. Louis. That's what I'm saying.
Okay,
That's what I'm saying. I got to watch where I go plug in and all that. And plus, my kid last night, she's talking about cars. Dad, I would like a new car when I'm 16. I'm thinking, are you kidding me? You don't get a new car. You get a Buick Skylark 86 like we had. 20 years old, beat up with a hole in the ground. You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Well, the way you're feeling about this electric car, maybe you give it to her when she's 16, and then you don't have to worry about it no more.
She can't go far, according to you.
She doesn't have to go. You don't want her to go very far, right?
That's my point.
That's what he's saying.
Yeah.
That's what he's saying. I'm grouchy. I'm grouchy.
You are. It's the holiday season. This is I know we're talking about the NFL
and
playoffs.
they're never happy.
There's music in the air.
They're never happy with whatever the hell you get them. They want the goddamn receipts. Whatever you buy, it's no good. I tell you, you get no respect out there.
All right, so you were going. I'm just trying to get an idea because I'm worried about you. It's the holiday season. I think sometimes the holiday season brings on a little depression in addition to a little joy, and I just want to make sure that you are, that you're able to take advantage of it.
And now you're drinking and you're looking mopey. I don't know.
Do we have an issue? Do we have an issue with the Ochoman? This is what I think Jimbo and I are trying to get to.
There's no issue here, boys. I'm having a great time. I love kicking back with you guys. I love being in the studio, and there's not a whole lot of issues going on besides you two, Fox, really messing things up in my head right now.
We noticed it yesterday at lunch.
What kind of scotch you drinking?
Oh, you're not going to believe this. This is the scotch my buddy you made from a site called, what the hell's the site called?
Whiskey Blender.
WhiskeyBlender.com. So what my boy here did, he went to WhiskeyBlender.com and he made his own type of scotch, what he wanted in the scotch and so forth, and they bottled it up. And you know what? He gave gifts out like this. I got a bottle in my office there. I can't wait to drink his scotch. Not my scotch. Because that goes above the fireplace. That's what I do with all good liquor that I get.
Are you saying that's not good liquor?
That's good liquor. That's
you said it wouldn't go above the. You said it wouldn't go there.
I said it goes above the fireplace, man. And this
Okay,
is one that it's his, and he opened it up, so I'll drink his.
Oh, okay, I got you.
I'm one of those freeloaders.
I got you. Oh, that's what I was looking for. Okay.
Yeah. All right.
As Tonto, that's my job.
That's your job, all right. I got another job for you.
You're all worthless and weak.
That's what I'm talking about, Chris. They're both worthless and weak here. And speaking of weak, we got a big week coming up in NFL between the Indianapolis Colts taking on the Dallas Cowboys. But one problem, my friends. The Cowboys may be without DeMarco Murray, their number one back. Well, what's your call on that? What's your call? Because I got my own theory. Let's hear your bullshit first, though.
Bullshit? Does that mean I go first?
Yeah, of course.
So you're gonna.
Let's
hear
your 5 minutes of waste time.
So you're gonna turn to the criminal at running back?
Yada, yada, yada.
Criminal. What do you mean criminal?
The guy's a criminal. I mean, he was arrested for stealing.
Charges were dropped.
Isn't this plug and play for any NFL team? Like, you're going to go to the criminal at running back? Like, which team we talking about?
Well, it's just his. This guy's got a star on his helmet. He's supposed to be part of America's team, so to speak, and they're supposedly do no wrong there. So I just was asking. That's all.
Charges were dropped, douchebag, and he also got a big advertisement from that company, from that underwear firm, to represent that firm, that underwear company. How's that sound?
That's what's wrong with the whole thing.
Well, what's wrong with it?
Well, now there's a bunch of kids out there going, I guess I'll just steal.
And you'll go to jail.
No, it gets dropped and I get an advertising contract.
You don't get dropped. You go to jail. Randall gets an advertisement gig out of it.
Because he plays for the Cowboys.
Well, that's you play for the Cowboys, then you'll get something, okay? You can steal all the underwear you want then, son. But in any case, I think the Cowboys are going to do quite well this weekend against the Colts. I just don't think Murray's – you know what? If he plays, I think he's going to fumble the ball. I'd rather see him sit out. You got the Vegas line right now. The line started at -1 Cowboys. It has moved to -3 Dallas. So Vegas hasn't bought into the whole Murray thing. They're very comfortable with Randall. So that's what I'm seeing on this one, my friends. I'm seeing Cowboys business as usual with a big 30-13 win.
Yeah, but how can you really do that? I mean, we're talking about a guy that was on the verge of breaking the Cowboys single-season rushing record. If anybody, however many years ago, would have said, well, Emmitt Smith's out, but the second guy's coming in, no real change. I don't think anybody would buy that. If Emmitt Smith's out of the game, the Cowboys are in deep shit. I'm going to go the other way on this. My personal opinion is you can't replace Emmitt Smith. Murray is Emmitt Smith right now.
Sir, Emmitt Smith did not have a backup, and Emmitt Smith, well, that's a guy of its own right there. Emmitt Smith is a lot better back than DeMarco Murray, okay? They could talk about DeMarco Murray all they want, but this guy's getting 35 touches, 40 touches a game. Of course he's going to break down. And, of course, let's do the physics here. What's he averaging? 4 or 5 a carry with 40 touches? Well, shit. I could lean forward and fall 3 yards.
Emmitt Smith had the best offensive line in the history of mankind.
Okay, here we go.
And DeMarco Murray has rushed for more yards in the games that he's rushed than Emmitt Smith, without having the best offensive line in the history of mankind. My only point, I'm not saying that DeMarco Murray is better than Emmitt Smith. I'm saying that currently he is more of an impact player than Emmitt Smith was at that time, because there's also nobody outside of him that's going to carry the ball.
Let me tell you something right now. DeMarco Murray will not be a Cowboy next year. Let me tell you guys that right now.
That's
DeMarco Murray is not going to get the big contract that he's looking for. They're going to give it to Dez Bryant. They're going to say to this guy, you know what, you want to test it, go out there and get it, because we got the best offensive line in the NFL. And you know what? Randall right now, he's averaging 7 yards per carry. I'm looking at Randall being the future star of this team. You can take your baggage and you can leave, my friend, and that's what's going to happen. That's my opinion.
Can we put that on the board right next to
Put it on the board.
Running in the underwear if Alex Rodriguez has a good year? If he has a good year, you're going to do the underwear thing?
Yeah.
Can we put this right next to it?
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah, you can put that up there too.
DeMarco Murray will be a Cowboy next year, pal.
Okay, that's your opinion. And I'm telling you right now, Randall is going to take off with the show. That was a hell of a piece I ate for lunch today. What else are we covering here, Jimbo? You took my goddamn paperwork again, didn't you?
I didn't take your paperwork.
Let's see what we got here. We got
Up your nose with your rubber hose.
All right.
By the way, your notes look like the New Orleans library after Katrina. I mean, what in the hell are you even writing down? This is unbelievable.
This is what I get as production.
Who's Katrina, by the way? Who is that mad bitch?
Do you understand the words that are coming out of my mouth?
This is what I get every day in our production meeting, Mr. Cooper.
I mean, and what is on the Katrina notepad? It looks like hieroglyphics.
Sir, let me continue here with my work. Also, there should be someone retiring that is retired now. Thierry Henry.
No.
Oh, Jesus.
Thierry Henry.
No. It says Thierry Henry here, my friend.
Thierry Henry.
Well, who is he?
He's an all-time leading scorer for Arsenal. He's 37. He's retiring. He was a great player. And you're comparing him to the running back that's got 11 kids by 10 different women.
Yeah, what is that, a racial thing there?
No,
is that a racial thing?
Terry Henry's black too, so there's nothing racial about it.
And it's not racial if it's true. I mean, the guy has 10.
You're a sick fucking up.
This guy has 11 kids by 10 different women.
Who does?
Not Terry Henry.
No, not Terry Henry.
Yes.
This would be Henry, the running back from Buffalo. And
who the fuck brought him on, stupid? I'm not even talking about him. I'm talking about this Henry. It's pronounced Henry. And you got another clown in Colorado a couple years back named Roy. There was no Roy. He was Roy. R-O-Y. He's the same coach name as North Carolina. And this guy's making a scene, too, by I'm Roy. And this guy's, it's Henry. What's that, Chris? Henry, that's what we're talking about. Okay, Thierry Henry, whatever. He's retired.
Well, hang on. Was it Cassius Clay or Muhammad Ali? His mama named me Clay. I'm going to call him Clay.
Oh, this aggression will not stand, man.
You're totally right, dude.
All right.
You're totally right, dude. And I'm not talking about you. I'm talking about Big Lebowski here. I think you're insane. That's not...
Look, the man's name's Wah. His name's Wah. I'm sorry.
Okay.
It's Wah. If he comes out and says, call me Roy, I'll call him Roy, but it's Wah.
Okay, whatever. Call him what you like. Let's move on here, my friends. We got Chris Conte, a 25-year-old Chicago Bears safety that says he would give 10 to 15 years of his life to continue playing in the NFL or be a part of the NFL.
No, not to continue. What he said was,
well,
it's worth having a shorter lifespan, which they all will, to play in the NFL. He's not saying if I could play more, I'll take 10 years off my life. He's saying I realize through the trauma, the brain trauma that I've got, and the fact that I'm going to end up probably, in a bad state from a brain standpoint, it's worth, if I get to play in the NFL, it's worth having 10 or 15 years less life.
Well, what's your calling that?
I mean, no.
No, of course it's no for us because we're 40.
Is that your final answer?
We're 40s. We're in our 40s right now, but when we were in our 20s, yeah, I could see giving up a couple years. A couple years, that is.
Well, you'll give up a couple now, but okay, you were the football player of the group, no doubt. You loved it, right?
Right.
You're 21, 22, fresh out of Rockford University, 7th-round draft pick.
College, yeah.
Yeah, 7th-round draft pick.
Right.
You're walking on that field.
Right.
And there's Faust. He's got his deal for you.
Okay.
He says, "Hey, I'll give
right.
you. You're going to make this team, but you're going to give me 15 years. You make that deal at 21."
Well, who are you, Satan or something?
Well, that's how it works. I mean,
No, but that's what's happening.
That's the hypothetical, yeah.
Well, it's not even hypothetical. It's from a physiological standpoint. These guys die 10 to 15 years earlier than anybody else, and that's in today's lifespan. As we take the next steps medically over the next 15 years, we're extending the average human lifespan by years every year right now, the way that medical science is going, except for in the brain injury department, which is where the NFL and potentially NHL and rugby, et cetera, are lagging way behind. These guys are going to die way before all the rest of us.
You know what, though? Who wants to live an average life if you could be in the NFL? I mean,
what do you call an average life?
You're up. You're in front of 85,000 people. They're calling your name.
Oh, Joe. Oh, Joe.
No, I'm just saying, man. It's the most exciting thing. All right, I don't know how the goddamn UFO thing there worked out for us on that one, Chris, but I think he needs more whiskey in his glass too. But yeah, man.
The price is wrong, bitch.
Okay. All right. Maybe I'll have a shot of whiskey on that one.
How many years are you going to give up?
I'm going to give up 2 of my fucking years, and that's at the very
end.
And
they say no, sorry, no thanks. We start at 10 to 12.
No. I want 2.
Sorry.
And
sorry, you're cut.
I want to.
What's going on the last 2 years of Ocho's life?
Well, I would say kicking back in front of the porch with my balls hanging out of my shorts, and I got a cat playing with it, and then I got people coming over, and my kids wheel me into the garage or the closet so that no one sees me. So, yeah, 2 years, 3 years at max. Fuck it, I'll give it to them.
I don't, Jeff. I think about the last 2 years of my life. My balls hanging out of my shorts and a cat licking on them's never come up. He and I have had this conversation 3 times in the last 24 hours. We keep going back to the cat and the balls.
Yeah, but you get sexually motivated when I bring it up.
No, I'm just so dumbfounded.
Yeah. Well, that's what I'm saying, though. 10 to 15 for a 25-year-old kid right now seems like, hey, it's not a big deal. But once he becomes 40 to 45, man, I'll tell you what, that's a decade and a half of years gone by that you're giving up. And I think he'll change his tune when he becomes 40 to 50 years old. That's what I'm saying.
I don't think there's any question about it. I think, look, at the end of the day, because you're not only talking about dying 10 to 15 years sooner, you're talking about losing your mental faculties 10 to 15 years before you die. So this guy's going to get to 40 and might not even know how to tie his shoes or know his name or be able to wipe the drool off his chin. That's the stuff that has got to change about the NFL because it's different. And I know that there's a whole generation of guys, right, that went through, that have come out. But the real concussion stuff, you see the guys, it's the Junior Seau generation that's really getting it because it was the bigger, stronger, faster, without the protection, without the ability, and these guys take in headshots, right? We used to be you tackled somebody. Then during the Junior Seau time period, and I'm only singling him out because he was probably the most famous guy that went through this, is that, it was like the goal was decapitation, not because it was TV. All of a sudden it was TV and it was like, welcome to the fucking Thunderdome and these guys trying to kill each other. And, it's the issue that the NHL and the NFL and the NHL have got to deal with. Or these, it's to your point, Jono, it's funny to hear a guy at 20 years old or 25 years old say, yeah, hell yeah, I'll give 10 or 15 years of my life because years are cheap at that point.
Yeah, you're bulletproof.
Yeah, you get a little older. The years aren't so cheap. You start looking at stuff differently. But the really bad thing to me is not that they die 10 or 15 years before, even though that's awful. It's the fact that they lose who they are as people. The brain is just so damaged that it's gone by the time they're 40 years old.
Hey, Jimbo, do you know, or can you look this up while me and Coop have a little conversation about this player? I think he played for the Chicago Bears. He shot himself in the heart so they could just check out his brain, do an autopsy. I wonder what his name
Dave
was.
Duerson?
That sounds right.
I think it was Duerson.
Yeah, that player right there. So this mentality, this shit was going on, way before Junior Seau. I mean,
so Duerson, I think, was an '85 Bear, wasn't he? Wasn't he the Super Bowl Shuffle generation, or
exactly?
And so that was just pre-Seau, and I think it's exactly that generation, right? Because you got. I mean, the funny thing is, you look back at the '85 Bears right now. How big would the fridge be today?
Man, I'll tell you what, he wouldn't be. That's a great question, because I don't think he's about the average offensive lineman for some of these teams right now. He's probably the average size of a NCAA college team, the Arkansas Razorbacks, right now on their offensive line. So
he'd be
that's
the smallest.
crazy.
He would be the smallest offensive lineman at Arkansas today. The fridge.
Wow.
Right? The guy that was the huge, monstrosity, freak show kind of thing.
Right.
And
Dave Duerson. You are absolutely correct. Died of a self-inflicted gunshot wound. And, what Coop was talking about, and this is what's interesting, this isn't a guy that appears to, have been miserable. I mean, he had a very successful post-football career. So the demons that these guys are dealing with that we don't see are horrible. But I think, the real issue here is this. You mentioned the NHL, Coop. Oach is talking about the NFL. There's obviously no short line to get into these leagues. I mean, everybody and their brother's trying to get in. So what's the answer? Less equipment?
Let's play catch-22 on this as well. Now, we had a big hit in Atlanta in the last game. Who was Atlanta playing against?
It was Pittsburgh. It was
Pittsburgh.
Was it Worley?
Here's the thing, too, man. I mean, you got a game now. You can't hit them low. They're going to call a penalty on that. You can't hit them high. You got to hit them in the middle. It's got to be a precise hit. Where can you hit a guy from now on in football? I mean, I understand. I understand the intensity. The hits have just become outrageously big now because the players are big. The speed of the game has picked up. But I'm telling you, things have got to change too, to where we can't take football out of the game.
No, I agree. I think, to me, it's very simple, and you touched on it, Jimbo, is that it's an equipment thing, right? If you feel like you are invincible, and I got this big helmet and these shoulder pads and all that, of course I'm going to act like a missile and go right at somebody else's head. But if I'm going to break my own nose by going at your head, I'm not going to do it, right? So I think, to me, it's going back to some sort of a leather headgear, no real shoulder pads, and playing the game, because people would still watch. They would still want to play. It would still be as fast. You'd still see great tackles. And what would happen, Oach, to your point, is that you could then dive and tackle somebody around the legs without using your shoulder pads to blow out their ankle or knee. And it goes back to being able to hit wherever you want to hit, because it's unnatural to be able to put yourself as like a human missile and go, blow somebody's head off or blow their knees out or whatever.
How much would that? God, I don't want to see leather helmets and.
Yes, you do. You would love.
You would love it.
Because, by the way, you know what you're going to see? Yes, you do. Because you're going to see guys' faces. Number one, it makes the sport more marketable.
Yeah, absolutely.
You're going to see guys' faces. You're going to do. You're going to go. It's going to go back old school, and the game is going to change, and it opens up. Right? It opens up the game, because if you can't just plow into somebody and there's skill in tackling, what's your biggest bitch? I've watched games with you, right? I've watched games with you, and what you say when some D-back comes running up and just tucks the head and goes plowing into somebody is, I've heard you scream it 5 times, fucking tackle him, wrap him up, tackle him. That's what you'd have to do if you don't have huge shoulder pads and huge everything else. You'd have to go in and actually play the game.
It's a big part. What was it? When Brett Hull was in St. Louis, he used to not wear his hockey helmet during warm-ups. Yeah. And then more and more NHL players started doing it because it was hard for the people to know who they were when they were away from the rink because, the helmet made them look so much different. The marketing is they see who they are. They see their face. I mean, I've seen commercials with football players, and I don't know who they are. I'm just being honest with you. But I don't know. Do you think we got to start reviewing these hits too?
I think it's getting out of control.
They're throwing flags and asking questions later.
I think Goodell is really, now you guys are going to disagree with me, so be it, but I think Goodell is really taking this game into his own. He's become that referee in boxing, okay, that one that always gets involved in when they're tied up, when you got an inside fighter, you want that referee to let him fight. And this guy's a kind of commissioner that's always wanting to get involved. He's like that referee that wants to be noticed in a championship fight. And you know what? I just don't want to see it. I don't care to see it. I want a referee that you can say, hey, was there even a referee in that ring? And Goodell is definitely not that. Hey, he's not a fan favorite, I'll tell you that right now.
That's not his job. His job is to do two things. What are they? A, market his brand. The NFL is a product, and it is a large product.
Keep it fair is what I'm saying. What you've done to Adrian Peterson, what you've done to Ray Rice, you know what? You give these guys a penalty, you give them a fine, you give them a sentence. Don't come back and change it. Stick to your guns.
Well, his second job is to protect his league. He has to market it, and he has to protect it. So, therefore, when people like you or whoever do not like him, you know who does like him? The other owners.
The owners do, but the players have lost the patience with him. You've got the fans that don't understand what's going on anymore. You can't hit like you did in high school or junior high or even as peewee. I mean, what we've been taught has been thrown right out, and I understand. I understand what you guys are saying. Yeah, that's just too much of a hits right now. It's causing malfunctions in the head and so forth. I get it. But when is it too much? When are we going to pull the plug on this and say let the guys play a little bit too?
Well, keep in mind, Roger Goodell works for 32 people. He doesn't work for one fan. He doesn't work for one player. He works for 32 people. That's all he's doing. And so I would add one thing to Roger Goodell, which is, I think, A, protect his own ass, and B, market the league, C, protect the league, right? And what we saw in the Ray Rice thing in particular is not him protecting the league. It's him protecting his own ass, right? Sure. He really screwed that. That's a Nixon moment for him, I think, right?
But do we believe it was just, do we really all four of us, Chris, you included, do we all really believe that that's all Roger Goodell?
Yes.
Just him. He was the only one made that decision. No. There's no way. No. That was Baltimore coming in and saying, hey, I got to have my guy. This is what happened. And again, I'm not letting him off the hook. I'm not letting anybody off the hook. But he's the fall guy.
He is the fall guy. Look, the guy that runs the NFL from the inside is Bob Kraft. There's no two ways about it, right? Roger Goodell is Bob Kraft's guy. And so when, you'll never be able to convince me that guys like Bob Kraft, potentially Jerry Jones,
absolutely,
a couple other guys that are the major players within the NFL, there's no way he acted on this Ray Rice thing without them knowing and their approval. There is no way.
They had to have seen the damn video.
Had to have. There's no way.
I think they saw it.
Don't tell me you didn't see that video, and don't say you didn't have access to that video. You seen that video, but you didn't want to tarnish your NFL. You gave the guy 2 games. Next thing you know, the world's coming at you with a torch. And what do? Oh, 2 games. Did I say 2 games? I meant 2 years. Come on. You can't do that to the player either. Stick to your guns. Give the sentence and stick with your sentence is all I'm saying. Okay. It's not fair to the player either.
All right. Hey, how about this? Oach comes home late. Which Oach
always comes home late.
Okay, and the wife says, hey, what do you do?
Deny. I run from that crazy bitch.
You deny. It wasn't me. I wasn't there. I was stuck in traffic. Deny. That's what they do because you can't prove it.
No, Tonto, that's how you do it.
Well, I'm telling you how they do it because there's no way to prove that Roger Goodell saw that tape.
Well,
you can prove he had it. You can prove he received it. You'll never be able to prove he saw it.
It doesn't matter. The whole point is he had access to that tape, and that's all that people are saying.
I understand.
They've even got hotel people saying that we were going to give them the tape. They just didn't care about it. Okay, so, he can't go around still staying with that story that, you know what, fuck, I didn't have the tape. I would have loved to seen it. No, I would have barbecued him some more. No, that's not true.
Well, that's where the problem is. There's been 8 different versions of why they didn't supposedly see it come out. First, it was, of course we didn't see it. It would have been illegal for the police could not have handed that over to us. It would have been, and then the police come out and said, no, that's not true. You absolutely could see it.
You got any soundbite on that says just bullshit? Because this is all bullshit. I'm telling you that right now. Yeah. There's no way. If the NFL wants something, the NFL is the biggest money maker next to NASCAR in this country, and they could get anything, anytime. Okay, so I'm not buying into that. Goodell is everything in this society, and he is what represents this country in a negative aspect, is what I'm saying. Sure, he might protect his players on hits and so forth, but in stuff like this, it's really sleazy. And you know what? I just don't like it. I think they ought to look into someone else down the line.
Hey, Bud Selig's retiring, and this guy's going to get $6 million a year. Okay, and nobody liked him.
And I still don't like him. Why don't that jack off get in Pete Rose?
Okay, but my point is, who did like him? To Jeff's earlier point, the owners all loved him. Baseball's never been more profitable. There's never been more money in it. Never been more interest in it. They love him. But we didn't like him for whatever reason. He wronged me, wronged you, wronged Pete, whatever, so you don't like him. So my point is with Roger Goodell, it's the same thing. Jeff brought it up. He works for 32 people. The league is doing very well. You just don't fire a guy unless you really, really, really does something terrible.
I'll tell you what's wrong with Bud Selig. He's got his favorites, and it showed again in Milwaukee when he gave Braun the pass. He let him go. There was urine. That urine exam, that test was altered with. That was definitely messed with, and he's no. I'm sorry.
It was the other way around.
Other way around. Yeah. I'm sorry. Yeah, there was nothing wrong with that, and he blamed it on that UPS guy or that FedEx guy.
Listen, of all the PED guys, the one guy that should be banned is that guy. Because let me tell you something. It's one thing to lie like Rafael Primero. I never did steroids, pointing at the counter. Sammy Sosa, no blah, whatever. All those guys, whatever. This guy tried to put it on an innocent citizen.
A delivery guy.
Yeah,
he didn't try.
No, he did. Yeah,
he did. Successfully did it.
And he got a hall pass from Selig.
Coop is the litigator on this show. Did that nice gentleman have any legal recourse against Ryan Braun there for defamation of character?
I don't know. He very well may have. I don't know the exact facts of it, so it's a hard one to say. What I do know is that the bottom line is that the sample got compromised one way or the other, and so
he peed on my rug.
It's exactly.
Yeah, he used it on his rug. Yeah, right.
But so who knows what happened? I mean, it's whether the guys got recourse. I don't know the facts exactly, but look, all these guys at the end of the day, they've got to figure out some way to attack the performance enhancing stuff because we're coming into a new generation, right? So that performance enhancing stuff, when as we've been coming up in the last 10 years, has been the steroids and the creams and all this other stuff. We've entered an era now where performance enhancing is going to be via blood bots and microbiotic things that people can put in their blood to allow you to produce more red blood cells, to allow you, it's all these things it's the nanotechnology that's coming on, and there is going to be almost no way to detect it. And so what you're going to see is that, these guys that go into these sports that are naturally huge, strong, etc., are going to become literally superhuman, and there's almost no way to detect it and to do it. So, what I don't envy, to be really honest with you, Roger Goodell or Bud Selig or any of these guys, because to have to deal with these issues and try to figure out, Ochoman, did you put nanotechnology in your blood that allowed you to run a 3-minute mile? Right? Who
did you?
The answer is no here. But really, like, what do you do? What the fuck do you do? Do you just give up and say, I tell you what, do your shit. Everybody knows it's going to hurt you. You follow your doctor's advice. We're going to stop testing because how do you change it? Right? How do you change it?
Well,
my fear for the NFL or a lot of these leagues is it literally becomes the circus.
Well, you're right. It's entertainment, but I think at the very beginning, when the whole thing happened with McGuire and Sosa, it burst all our bubble. It was the warm fuzzy with the home run chase. But then for me, it changed because I didn't, ignorantly enough, the pitchers were doing it.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't like it was just the hitters.
What's that one? Here's what I'm going with this. When MLB was going down,
yeah,
you depended on the Albert Bells. You brought the Walls in. You depended on the Sosas. You depended on the McGuires to make this game. They revived the game by the home runs. You turned your back from all those steroid users then. And now you've come out in the open, and now you want to barbecue all of them. They saved your game, and you looked away when you knew they were doing it back then. Okay?
Yeah, anybody that says they didn't know is burying their head in the sand.
And these managers that just got into the Hall of Fame.
La Russa.
Are you kidding me? He was part of the Bash Brothers in Oakland, and we all laughed at Jose Canseco when Canseco said 90% of our guys are doing it, and they certainly wanted to crucify the guy.
Oh, yeah. I think Jose Canseco.
So you're telling me
he changed this whole thing. That numbnuts changed the whole thing.
Well, he's not a numbnut. He was the smartest guy out there.
That's what I mean.
He's the one that came out and said this, and then La Russa says, I didn't know they were doing anything. Are you kidding me? I think he was lining their asses up and shooting them himself.
Well, I don't know that he was doing that, but he knew.
It's the equivalent of doing it.
Well, then how does that guy get into the Hall of Fame?
No, I agree. You're 100% correct.
That's the fact, Jack!
Well, by the way, here's the funny thing. How does that guy get into the Hall of Fame and then at the same time come out and publicly question the Cardinals signing Johnny Peralta? It really just, that's
funny.
Really, really funny. Like, okay,
I didn't know he did that.
Oh, yeah. So you? Really? Okay.
You of all
right,
people.
Yeah, good.
That's amazing that he had balls to do that. Well, we got the show here winding down, my friends. Anything you guys would like to add?
No, Oach, I just hope you get a little happier for the holidays. I want you to not be so grouchy. Have some Scotch whiskey that we're sitting here having a little bit of. Enjoy yourself. Smile at somebody periodically. You grouchy fuck. Let's just be nice.
I've had a little rough time. The in-laws are in town too.
Hey,
the look on your face when Christmas music comes on is making my point. Smile.
It's all about fucking money.
Open sleigh.
Bullshit.
Come on.
I wish we had a Santa hat.
Sing with me, Gene. Sing with me, baby.
Away, ha ha ha.
Yeah.
Down bells ring.
Oh.
Making spirits rise.
Come on. Dance it, Ochoman. Get it, baby. Get it.
Hey.
Oh shit.
Jingle all the way. Hey, I'll tell you, jingle all the way. Hey.
Now I know why tigers eat their young.
All right. Chris, you're killing me. All right. Okay. Hey, we got one last thing here. We got Tom from Charlestown, West Virginia, emailing us here. And he's emailing about when rivals play, what does the Vegas line mean that much into the game? How much do you put into the Vegas line when rivals hook up against one another? That's a very interesting question.
Yeah.
And to me, Tom, no. Two teams that hate each other, you can throw the stats right out the door. I don't like messing with it, but on the average, 65% of the rival underdogs normally cover. That's a pretty big high number there, my friends.
That is a good number.
I think it's horseshit.
What do you mean?
So we're talking about professional athletes here. You're telling me that guys try harder against one team than another? Like, come on. I don't.
I'm telling you, the Redskins come out, they get more fired up for the Cowboys than they would against the Saints.
No, they don't. Redskins fans do. This is the misnomer, right? What Redskins fans do. If you think that, the offensive lineman who, has been at the Redskins for 1 year, and all he's looking at is, I got another year on my contract, and I'm probably going to Baltimore, and I'm probably going to the Giants, and I'm going to end my career in Jacksonville, gives one fuck about playing the Dallas Cowboys. I just don't think it's true in today's professional sports. I think when guys lived in their community, they stayed in their community, they grew up in their community, and they played for that professional team, yeah, they hated the Dallas Cowboys. But it's just not like that today. I think they get just as fired up to play the Cincinnati Bengals as they do the Dallas Cowboys. Not true for the fans, but true for the players.
Oach, did you play harder against East St. Louis than you did Collinsville?
I did, actually. And I'll tell you another thing. When we played...
That was fear-based, though.
That's very rude.
No, it's true.
What you talking about, Willis?
That was very rude. And, that's the last time you come on this show with shit like that.
You weren't scared, were you?
No, I wasn't scared. I had a great game. But you know what? I just knew that the microscopic of that game, I knew everyone was watching that game. I knew, and that's the same for the Dallas Cowboys with the Redskins. Now, the Redskins ownership, they watch that game. They want it. They can lose every game, but they want that game, and that's what it boils down to. They get judged on that game. They get judged on the contracts of that game. So I think when you see a Florida State taking on a Miami Hurricane team, they do get a little extra oomph in that. When you see a Notre Dame playing Miami University, oomph.
Okay, so to Coop's point, it's bigger to the fans, and the fans are the ones that spend the money. So maybe, and stop me if I'm wrong, Oach, maybe the coaches, knowing how important it is to the franchise to beat Dallas if they beat one team, maybe they do some things they wouldn't normally do. Maybe you're onto something. Maybe they would typically sit the guard's legs hurt, his knees hurt, but you know what? We got to beat him. He's got to play, whereas normally they wouldn't do it. So maybe you're onto something there.
Yeah, but sitting a guy or not sitting a guy, that doesn't affect a line, right? And the coaches also, the coaches, I can see where they would get a little more pressure because the owners certainly care about the rivalry games because the fans care about the rivalry games. But I just don't think that players these days try any harder against one team or another other than ongoing real rivalries. When the Blues play the Blackhawks or the Rangers play the Devils or the Red Sox play the Yankees, that's another good one. Only because it's so built in, right, to what they're doing. But something, your normal, like, because there's so many rivalry games now because everybody wants to sell every team's got 3 or 4 or 5 rivals. I don't buy the stat from a cover standpoint.
How do you? I don't see it in baseball.
Well, it's hard. It's
for
such
extra oomph in baseball.
Well, it's such a pitching.
What are you going to throw an
dominated.
extra 2 miles an hour faster? On
It's
the
so pitching dominated.
You might line up your pitching so you pitch 3 of your best pitchers. You know what I mean? So you got better guys. You might not rest guys on those days to those points.
Well, that's the whole split thing. You got certain guys pitch better at home. I think who's the Cardinal pitcher? Was it Garcia? The guy. Does he ever win away? I mean, he's hurt all the time anyway. But that's an example of a guy they try.
I'll tell you right now, and it's the honest to God truth. If that Florida coach, what's his name, Munchak? I think that's his name. If he beats Florida State this year in football, Muschamp. If he wins that game, he still has a Florida Gator job going into next year.
You might be right about that.
Because that is the one game they do not want to lose. The fans, the head Bull Gator fans that put in a lot of money into alumni, they do not like Florida State. And if he wins that game, he's got his job still for next year.
But the question was the lines. That doesn't affect the lines.
Yeah, no, it doesn't affect the lines. That's my point. From a betting standpoint, which is what your whole show is about, I don't think that a rivalry game matters shit. What it matters is that I think the line probably moves a lot more. That more accounts for the 65% cover because you got guys on both sides betting heavy, really going after it. Because to my point, the bettors and the fans really give a shit about it. The players just don't.
That's when they really bet with their heart. I mean, that's
because the lines all tighten up in a rivalry game.
Have you ever bet against the Cowboys, Oach? Have you ever bet against them?
Sure, I'm a betting man. I'll bet against my family too. That's how I work. That's what it's all about.
But wouldn't you agree that there's a ton of people out there that would never bet against their Cowboys under any circumstance?
Against their team?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, you're looking at points. I don't mind my team winning.
But you're a professional.
Right.
These guys out here, no.
All right, speaking of professional fellas, we've got our big play of the week here. I got my big play of the week. Let me get a big drum roll here, Chris. I got a big drum roll coming for this one.
Is this a doozy?
This is a good one here, my
Taking
friends.
this one to the bank?
Your play of the week's always a good one. You nail these.
All right. Chris is behind, so I'm just going to go anyway. What the hell?
Oh.
Okay, whatever the hell that was.
Weirdest drum roll of all time.
All right. Our big play, and you don't even have to call your 1-800 bullshit line, your 1-900 line or whatever to hear some guy at 12:30 at night say, I'm going to go 5-0, and this is my big lock of the week. Fuck him. You don't need that. You got the Ochoman here giving it to you absolutely free. And that is Pittsburgh at home, -3 against the Kansas City Chiefs. Big Ben, Le'Veon Bell, expecting big games from these two. Kansas City, their offensive side, Jamal Charles, he's nursing a bad knee. He's got an ankle injury. Kansas City just looks worn down, my friends. They look like tired racehorses just trying to find a wire to finish the race here. Steelers win at home here, 30-13. The spread is -3. Take it to the bank. Entertainment purposes only. Bet your friends. Bet whatever you want to bet. But I'm telling you right now, this is the play, my friends. What do you guys think? I don't care what you think. How's that sound? This is the play, my friends.
Well, I'm going to tell you what I think anyway. And I agree with you 100%, big guy. This is a complete mismatch. Complete mismatch.
I'm shocked the line's only 3.
-3 at home, and you got Big Ben playing really good. That's kind of disrespect to Pittsburgh right now. I would have thought this line would have been 6.5 to 8 points minus Pittsburgh. -3, forget about it.
I was thinking 7.5. You might get some action on Kansas City, but 3?
But 3. Only 3.
Only 3.
That's all we got here, my friends. That's our play of the game. Pittsburgh -3. Go to our site at Ochoman at Ochoman.com. Leave us some questions. We'll see if they're good questions, and we'll put them on the air if they're good. And from Jimbo, our special guest here, Jeff Cooper, and our production man here, Chris, Ochoman is out of here.
And it ain't over now. Because when the going gets tough, the tough get going. Who's with me? Let's go. Come on.
You're listening to The Ochoman, Behind the 8 Ball, only on Ignotainment. Visit us at www.ignotainment.com.